Okay, this should be the concluding part of the Predators review. Um, Overall, it's a kick-ass film. The pacing was awesome. Very similar to the first. They hit several keynotes. There was a few times where they used dialogue that was like purposely taken from the first film to have like one of those echoes, and it just didn't seem to fit completely right. Uh, One other thing that's kind of a plot hole to me: the Israeli sniper says that how they're aware that these things are around, and she relates the first Predator. She says in 1987 in Guatemala, there was this, you know, she relates the story of Dutch, and obviously giving anyone not too familiar with the Predator series some backstory, as well as having an excuse to explain to the characters what this is. Strangely, they did not mention anything about Predator 2. Now, she is Israeli, so I'm first of all wondering why the Americans shared this with the Israelis. Sure, they're our allies, but we don't have to share stuff like our secret Black Ops alien projects with them. Although maybe we didn't. Maybe that's why she didn't talk about Predators 2. I'm not sure if that's maybe Rodriguez trying to retcon out Predators 2. They shouldn't. It wasn't that bad of a film. And obviously no mention of the Aliens and Predators films. Although you could make the excuse that the first AVP wouldn't have been picked up by the government because it was a private deal and only one survivor got out. Although obviously two they were involved. Get some water here. Other plot holes, I can't really think of any right now. I'm sure there's going to be a ton on the internet, just because of what the internet is. People are going to look for something. I actually have not read any reviews on this whatsoever. I saw a quick on IGN. They just said to go see this film. That was like a little quick briefing. Other than that, I haven't seen any other reviews. I'm based on my experience with this film, I'm gonna say generally everyone's gonna like this. Everything was just right technically about this film. Franchise-wise, was right about this. And it ends on this. It's not a cliffhanger. Well, it's cliffhanger-ish. Their actual story is concluded. They actually had a nice. At the end of the fight, they kind of did a bit of a spin on the neutralizing the Predator's thermal vision. Instead of the mud thing, Brody does use the mud a bit. What he actually does is he makes a giant-ass fire that surrounds him and the Predator. And it makes him completely invisible to the Predator, more so than it was in the original Predators. And I always like this kind of play on the Predators in the first and the second one, that they kind of figure out the Predators, and through primitive techniques, they achieved the same exact effect the Predators did with their technology, making themselves invisible. Only, the humans did it with much more low-tech stuff. And of course Brody has his fight. Luckily they didn't try to redo the Arnold fight with the Predator with Brody, because as I said before, Brody can't match up physically to Arnold. Arnold had a fucking fist fight with the Predator. In this one, it's not really a fist fight. He kind of tricks him, and he basically has a club, and even then, another character kind of gets involved as well. Which is okay. It makes Arnold Schwarzenegger's character that much more badass. The fact that everybody else who's ever taken on a Predator never fought them mano a mano. Glover's character had to use a Predator weapon. Brody here had to use a club and some other stuff. Schwarzenegger, and he was doing the tricks while he was fighting them, as in the fire. Schwarzenegger just took the fucking Predator on one-on-one in a fist fight. That makes him awesome. And that's kind of a symbolic thing there as well, about how all this Predator's high-tech technology is kind of defeated just by human ingenuity. An interesting theme, mainly because most of this type of sci-fi is like humans are crap and technology will be better than everything. That's not always the case. Like occasionally, it's old school techniques. Being old school can defeat the new stuff. An interesting ideal and one that's a familiar theme to most people. Eventually, we'll see that it's actually a pretty common theme. Not overly common. Most of the time, it's about how most actual sci-fi is about how technology will solve things. It's very Star Trek-y, but that's not always the case. Final verdict. It's obviously you should go see this film. Great cast, great characters. We actually get to know these characters. This director, I know I've been talking about Robert Rodriguez, but I haven't talked about the director Nimrod Antal. Yes, the director's name is Nimrod. According to his IMDb, he did Vacancy. Well, he did a few. Looks like some foreign films, Eastern European films or something. But you've probably seen him for Control, which I've never heard of. It looks like it's a Hungarian film, so Vacancy and Armored. Some of you might have seen that. They were kind of... One was a thriller, and I remember seeing the previews for Armored, but never went to go see it. I think it was in theaters for like a week. But this is definitely showing he's got a career if he can continue to do stuff like this. So go see this movie and stop watching this review. Go see this movie.